Hello, I'm Steve. A little about myself. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 20 years of service. I began my career in the jail, worked the road, and became an investigator. During my career, my training consisted of everything from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician. I've investigated crimes from thefts to homicides. After retiring and becoming aware of true crime and web sleuths, I started my channel for web sleuths to better understand the perspectives of law enforcement. Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases.
Hello, everyone. Glad you're able to join me tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Tonight I'm by myself. Mrs. Steve is down in Florida near her newest grandson, and she was able to hold him today. And so I'm just up here, but I've got a sidekick. This isn't Sergeant Waffles. This is his cousin. And so we're going to have to come up with a name for the new one here while Mrs. Steve is away. So I'll have a little sidekick here. But on my members only, I'll tell you how I acquired this skeleton. It came through the acquisition of a home in Florida. So anyway, came with a home. But I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We're going to have a short presentation tonight. We're looking at Delphi, Idaho, and of course the Long Island serial offender. And I want it's an open discussion, and of course I've got a short presentation of some things I found recent news articles and of the latest information, but also I want y'all's views of what y'all think is strong about the case, which case is of most interest to you, and what are the weaknesses of either the prosecution or defense. And like I said, it's just open discussion tonight. Been on the road a lot the last 2 weeks. Just got back in Georgia yesterday, and I'll be leaving Georgia in a day or two and heading back to see the grandson again. So I just want to thank everyone. Appreciate everybody being here. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right. Of course, if you have any information about any of these cases, make sure that you contact law enforcement. And regardless of what state it's in, just your local law enforcement agencies will be able to hook you up with the appropriate authorities if you have information regarding any type of major crime that needs to be brought to the attention to the proper authorities. So, but if you have any information about Delphi, absolutely make sure they have that information as we move forward with this trial, because in each of the 3 cases we're looking at, we have an offender that is has been arrested and being detained and awaiting trial. And it's a long process. Sometimes they go pretty quick, a year or so, and then sometimes they don't go to trial for much longer. And where are we going to be at that, and what happens in the court systems? Now with the social media, we all get a great lesson in how the courts work. And we also get to see that even when they are not running and everything going smoothly, that as the court makes certain decisions and the attorneys become involved, especially with what we see what's happening in Delphi, there's always measures that can be taken by other courts, higher courts, that will make sure justice is found. I know a lot of people are making a lot of hay with what's happening in Delphi. I'm not worried about right now. It's in the courts. The courts will handle it. And there's been far greater issues in other trials than what even with Delphi. It's just that there's so much focus on it with our communities that we're looking at it. And I'm not in a panic mode right now. I'll let you know when I get in a panic mode. But right now I'm not worried about it. But anyway, and then of course, let me get into chat, and because like I said, I'm going solo, so I don't want to get too far behind. And I want to thank everybody that's in our community that's in chat tonight. I won't be able to recognize all the names, but I'll be looking for the questions and trying to keep up with the questions mostly, guys. So if you have a comment or a question about a specific case, absolutely throw it in chat. and I hope I don't miss it too bad. Let's see here. All right, now I got going down through here, but let me go ahead and finish up with the Delphi one first, and then we'll get into it. But like I said, I'm not really worried about the Supreme Court is looking at and the filings and the representation, not only the attorneys that have been assigned to the Richard Dowling case. There's far more involvement by a lot of attorneys that are standing up and saying, this is what needs to be done. This is what we need to focus on. This is what the Supreme Court needs to understand is happening. And so they stepped up to the table. They're putting it in there. And that is a great part of our system, that we have this, that not only the attorneys that are working on the case that have been assigned, and of course we've had those that have withdrawn or were, ever how you want to look at it, taken from the case, that other attorneys are assisting and making sure that other courts or higher courts are aware of the situation, and it's going to get handled out. It's going to get ironed out. But the current judge argues that and denied the motion that was made by the defense, and for a lot of different legal reasons. And I'm not even worried about those right now, for the fact that the upper courts, regardless of any decision that's been made up to this point, the upper courts are aware of the situation, and it's going to be handled. So, and now you're going to have to judge that when the Supreme Court of Indiana comes down and makes a certain finding, are you going to be happy with that? And I mean, what would be your next, and some people are going to be happy and some people are going to be disgusted. And it's from whatever narrative they want to face those issues with. But we'll have to see. And then, of course, we have that letter that was unsealed from an inmate, and about witnessing certain acts and brutality. That's not uncommon in jail systems. There's a lot of inmates that and I don't know the truth of the matter and which way it is. It will be investigated. There's just the letter itself doesn't mean that's the only thing that's ever been done about the case. There will be investigations conducted, especially on these high profile and on this, for the fact that we have to guarantee, and the courts will guarantee, that Richard Allen is safe and he's not being as what is being reported. And if it is, certain issues have arose during his time and while being detained, those issues will be taken care of. Everything has oversight when they're judicial, correctional, and I know that's, the other side says absolutely not, that it's way beyond the scope of what should be occurring. It'll be handled, guys. We just got to calm down and it will get handled. Then we have the Koberger case. If you have any information on that, make sure that they have all the information for that. And while I get caught back up with chat here and see if there's anything going on, I'm going to say hello to everybody. I see a lot of familiar names in chat tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Like I said, if you have any questions or any comments, I hope I don't miss them. And like I said, we got to come up with a Molly, old Steve. Yeah, someone in my comments today was talking about the names that we have: Steve, Mrs. Steve, Baby Steve, Double Alt Steve, Triple Alt Steve, with the newest grandson being born. And so, old Steve. That's cute. Oh, man. 4 Alt. Yeah, that'll work. Bones, yes. Deputy. And this is is it real or fake? I never know with you. This is fake. The other one also is manufactured, although it's to scale as far as every bone is accounted for and average sizes and things of that. And whereas this one isn't, I think this is more of a Halloween decoration, but um, all I had to be my sidekick tonight, as Mrs. Steve, like I said, is quite a ways away from me. Baby kisses. Mrs. Steve is going to absolutely love that name. That's a great name. Unearthed Secrets. Hi, everyone. I sent you a text message. I don't know if you got it last night after you sent me your text message, but I'll be making a phone call to you next day or two, Unearthed Secrets, Carolyn, so that we can discuss some things that's coming up. Molly, rules. Yeah, the rules always here are be respectful of mods, families, each other. No names. Let's stay away from the initials, names of suspects unless they've been charged or search warrants served upon them. And those are the only people that I don't mind putting out there, because there's a lot of names involved with these cases. Well, not all the cases, but specifically with Delphi, that even through the Frank's motion that was thrown out there, and I really don't want to put those names out there any more than it has already happened. Unearthed Secrets. If I had any extra information about any of these cases, I think True Crime Web would be a little mad. Absolutely not. And like I said, I'm so I work the cold cases, so I don't get to do a lot of research on some of these other cases, and especially in the last week or so with how much travel I've done, I've got some. I'm going back up into the Midwest in early December on one of the cold cases, meeting with a federal agent and one of the cold case families, or a retired federal agent and one of the cold case families, and discussing some details and see if we can't get some developments moving in the right way with that case. But as soon as I get back from there, I will let y'all know. Let's see here. All right. Let me, yes. And with this one, um, one of the things we've discussed before, and that has been brought up in the past about how many people were being at the King Road address, and what type of house, college house, what are the people that's been in it, who's been in it, the time frame of that. And the defense has, of course, recognizes the largest and best piece of evidence that is linking Kohlberger to being in that residence is his DNA. So are they going to embrace that that was a party house and Kohlberger had been there on numerous occasions? And if that's the case, of course, does Kohlberger on his phone have pictures of him being at that party house? I mean, if you go to a party, how many parties you ever been to with modern technologies or family reunions that you didn't snap a picture? And we know that if it is parties, other people snap pictures. And we live in that this day and age of if you're at a party, your picture going to get made by somebody. And so, you know, they've done a canvas um, uh, research, and everybody, and I'm sure they're going to be going out and asking for another dump of everybody that's ever been to a party and their pictures and things to see if Kohlberger's out there. And not only that, I'm pretty sure that almost everyone in social media that is aware of this case that's ever been to that address has looked through their phones through those parties. It's trying to see if they found Kohlberger. And because how big of an issue would that be? And how important would that be? And that's something that will absolutely need to be put out there and promoted. That if you've ever been to that house and been to a party, look at your pictures. Find Kohlberger in there, for the fact that, you know, um, uh, he deserves that, and everybody deserves that to know. And because we have two sides of that coin. If no one can ever develop a picture or any evidence that he was ever there, that's huge. And if someone out there has a picture of him being in that residence, that's huge, and it needs to be brought up to so that we can have that information. And so I encourage everyone out there to, if you've been in that part of the and to that campus or know someone at that campus, encourage them, look at those pictures. And then, of course, recently we had the FBI return to the residence and do some further investigation and scanning. And I'm sure they're just tying up loose ends since the case and what new technologies have come out. What has the prosecution looked at and said, hey, we need to do some a little bit more tying up some loose ends. And so that's more than likely why they went back there for. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. All right. Oh, this will do nicely. Member for 14 months. Thank you. Appreciate that. Your support means a lot to us. You panic, Steve, I'll get worried. That was pretty much everybody's thermometer back in the day when that I always told them, I said, I'll let you know when it's we have to start worrying, guys. Oh man. Thank you, Lee, about the new grandson. Let's see. And this is a good point, Sean. Don't forget, we the people, in order to form, yes, a more perfect union, have a right to transparency. The courts are absolutely working for the people, and we have to make sure that the courts are fair. And it's just not a single court. We have all different types. There's a whole process from the judges that sign these search warrants. A lot of these search warrants, it depends on what part of the country you're from and what type of judges are available to sign warrants. We have magistrate judges here in Georgia and go all the way up from the lower courts to the trial courts. And then, of course, your state courts. And you have your local traffic courts and then your state courts and all the way up to your federal courts that's in the states. And so there's a lot of courts in every state that guarantee that um, you have a right to be tried by your peers and you have a chance at justice. And so like I said, I'm not really worried about it right now. Everything looking good. Um, Here it is hi, Mr. Steve. Is a handwritten letter as important as they're both written by the same person important? Are you talking, I take it by the inmate, and letters are written all the time, and all letters will be evaluated for the worth, for the fact that we're talking about a jail setting. And in our jails now, the common areas, everything's got technologies, and you'll see those interactions. You may be able to hear those interactions. And you're not just talking about that we have Richard Allen as a absolutely isolated individual in this west wing of whatever um, he would be. There's still other pods and cells and areas and the isolation, and there's other inmates. They don't just put one inmate in an area that's absolutely 100% um, unattainable dungeon type situation. And when there are those isolation cells and those blocks of isolation cells, they have camera systems on them. And of course, we have where we see that what happened with a infamous case regarding an island, which we won't get into. Camera sometimes, I'm telling you. All right. Now we also got this here. Rex Sherman. He's not pled guilty to these, and the suspect list is getting bigger and bigger. And one of the interesting things I saw in this case, and um, and it's got to do with a sketch. And if you haven't seen this sketch, go look it up. I've got a link to it here. Well, not a link, but I've got the just type it in out of Virginia. But the family has reached some deal about that they're going to be, and this is his wife and adult children, that they're going to be doing a documentary about his trial, and so they're going to be going to the courts. Um, what is the motivation? Of course, it's going to be the money, and because we're looking at a situation here with a Long Island serial offender, that this may be something that it's more than just Long Island, and I absolutely believe that's the case. I've done some other shows about it. That this monster, who is when he's by himself, he is absolutely a predator of such a high degree that it, or the potential for that. And some of the things are pointing to that is that, of course, when his wife is away, he did certain things. If he is the one that is responsible for the Long Island offenses, and but as they go out there and they look at these other victims and they look at these other suspects, and when we look at this sketch out of Virginia, I mean, that is this sketch is from a different case that the Alicia Showalter Reynolds, a 1996 homicide victim out of Virginia, and of where this individual was creating a ruse, almost like what the Zodiac offender did back in California back in the day, as far as either causing some type of issue with a car, or um, flagging people down or stopping people and telling them they have a vehicle issue. And that's what happened that they suppose with her abduction, that she was never seen after or when she was abducted and a homicide victim, that we don't know all the details of it, and if Rex is absolutely the one responsible or not. But from other women that were stopped along the same route of where her abduction occurred, they did a sketch, and I have to give it to them. That whereas with BG in Delphi, the sketch is, but with this one, it's I'd have to tell you, in this sketch, I've got to find out when it was done, but it's almost like you know, I have to say, and I'm not saying that he's responsible for her homicide, but uh, I give him credit that that's a pretty good drawing right there. And I could see whereas we need to do some more investigations. All right. Let me see. Let's see. Who else? I not get too far behind. Oh, where someone gave a donation, and there's the blue light, $4.99. I don't know who it is yet. When I get to you, I'll blue light you again. Thank you for your support. Olivia too says, I hate to admit I'm worried about the Delphi case and trial. Hopefully, you may be right, but I'm not really that fearful for it yet. Molly says, I'd like the Indiana Supreme Court to do the remedy at most fair for the Constitution, least likely to get a verdict thrown out mistrial. And that's what they're going to do. I guarantee you that's, they're the ones that have the power, and that it would go to if they weren't involved at this point. And so ultimately they're going to correct it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh, I mean, R.A. and Baskin's letters are the same writer. I don't know. I haven't looked at the handwritten letters, and even if I looked at them, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm not an expert on handwriting, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of content on that. That if there are close, that people will be looking at that. but no, I haven't looked at it and hadn't read any articles on that. But if you have any articles on that, absolutely send them to me. I appreciate that. Love to hunt. Nothing simple in Indiana. I'm telling you, you are absolutely correct. Thank you, Susan Lee. Actually, his middle name is my name, Steve. So he has partially my name also. So my daughter chose to do that. Hello, Jill. Good to see you. Original Steve. That's funny. 63 o'clock. Oh man. I thought maybe the skeleton fell off someone's closet, Steve. You are absolutely, you're psychic, because that's exactly where we found it. When I'll go ahead and tell the story. When we were looking at properties in Florida, the real estate agent was going through a home, and it was right before Halloween. And this residence had numerous um, skeletons in the residence. And so, as the real estate agent was going through the house, the homeowners were there, and we were talking about doing an offer, and I said, I want one of the skeletons. Part of the offer would be that we buy the property and the skeleton. And so, of course, we didn't put that in the contract. But when we arrived and were moving in, the skeleton was in the closet, which is absolutely priceless. You always hear about skeletons in the closet, and they had one sitting there for me. And I thought that was brilliant on their part, and I thank them for that. So I have skeletons in my closets. Doesn't see through. Doesn't see through. Oh man. Sean says, "Do you have any missions in the near future?" Absolutely. In December, I'm going back up to Midwest, and I spoke with Larry today. Sometime December, January, I got to go back down to Texas and finish up with some other things down there. But those are the first two, and then most important, they're all important. But we're also, I've got to get with Unearthed Secrets, and we've got to discuss about next year's cases, which ones, for the fact that through the foundation, we've got to purchase some equipment, and which equipment, case specific, is best to give us the best results for each case. And so we'll look at those and map out everything that we can regarding those cases and what's needed that can give us the greatest chance to have the best impact. And so that's where we're moving forward and towards ultimately. So for December, I've got a couple of weeks. I'll be out of state, and but then I'll be back during the winter months for trying to get caught up on all my YouTube stuff. Mini and micro. That's cute, Sensei. Thank all of y'all for your well wishes. Now, there are so many names involved, some initial overlap, at least KK. KK is one of those people that has the search warrant, and this is a prime example of absolutely of people that names or that are involved in this case. Search warrants were issued, transcripts have been released, all kind of things involving him. So that individual, plus he's been sentenced, and he's a predator that absolutely I have no use for. Just funny bone Freddy. I mean, yes, it's the 1 year anniversary of Idaho. Getting there, absolutely. Uh, let's see here. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And like I said, I'm just trying to keep caught up. Mrs. Steve normally handles this. Um, Baby kisses. Why are they calling it a crime of passion? I don't know on which one of those cases you're um, referencing. All right. Yes, at some point there, hopefully we'll have that technology available to us that if we have to use it, we'll get that. That's on down the road. All right, just trying to get caught up, guys. Like I say, I want to thank everybody for being here, and chat seems to be moving pretty good. Spiritual Genie LLC. That's, that's excellent. Hadn't seen that one before. I'm sure I have. I just, like I said, I get so far behind. Well, I'm glad you're here, Vicky. I'm so happy that you're able to attend tonight. Okay, it was Miranda Lee, um, Blue Light. Congratulations to you and Mrs. Steve on your new grandson. Sending love and well wishes. Thank you, Miranda. Appreciate you being here. And uh, and I know you're going to be asking about because she has a lot of interest regarding Evansdale. We don't have any current information. I did speak to Drew yesterday or the day before, and I'll at some point I've got to contact him this week or next week. I'll be in the Midwest, but I don't know if I'm going to be running back up to Iowa. I'll be in Indiana. I've got to meet with Larry, and I got to meet with another cold case family. And so just depends on what the timeline is. If I'll go back up again one more time. I thought I was through, but there's a possibility I may be going back up one more time. Yes, and that was one of the comments I made earlier about when he's alone. He is a ultimate predator, and that's that's what they base it upon. That we don't have any witnesses, and now sometimes you have serial offenders that have partners. It doesn't appear that this is going to be the case with this individual, um, and so anytime that he was alone or away from his job, vacation, hunting, law enforcement will isolate those times. They'll see what was his yearly schedule of when he was away from work, and they'll try to track his movements through bills and digital footprints over the years, from dating back to when he would have been able to start um, going into a budding serial offender, if he is that. But if he is, they'll go and do all that research and try to identify all those other possible victims. And this is something with other cases, Koberger and Richard Allen, we do have two. It's very we have opposite end of the spectrum. We have that so polarized of people that are absolutely defense of the offender and absolutely pro prosecution. And so, but with Koberger, I haven't seen that yet. It may be out there. I just haven't seen where there's anyone stepping up for defending him. Um, and don't know why that is yet, but we'll have to see. But that is um, that's just not us, but I haven't seen that yet. There's a possibility that he's involved with cases in Atlantic City as well, even cases in Long Island back in the early 80s, right after he graduated high school. And that's what I said, a budding offender. And when did he start uh, having these issues? If he is the one, and if he is, you count over the years from the 80s, uh, you know, 40 years. 30 to 40 years is a long time and it can rack up a huge list of victims potentially. Molly says, I've seen another sketch of the I-29 Virginia in color that also looks like Rex. Same weird hair. Yeah. I hadn't seen the other one yet. Email it to me if you get a chance. Uh, just trying to. Teresa, good to see you. Yeah, that's blue light returns. And by the way, that you've mentioned that, um, I've got this blue light set over to the side. That this blue and red light that I've had that's supposed to be my travel blue light, and I'm gonna try to remember whenever I head back south in the next day or two to take that with me, so I'll have on the road when I have content, so I'll be able to get the blue light going for y'all down there too. Um, it's about the music. He's he's likely responsible for at least one here in South Carolina where I live. Most likely more than one. And law enforcement's going to be looking at so many, and the numbers of this individual. Um, I I know he will rise. I just don't know to what extent. That made my night, Vicky. That you're so happy to be here. Been going through some things, but getting better every day. I love all you all. Not even kidding. Well, I am glad that that made my day. And that's something that I watched over the years. My mother was handicapped, and through the internet gave her a window into society that she didn't possess, that she couldn't go out and uh, mingle and travel. And that's something that we have to always remember, guys, that in our community and these people in chat, we don't know everything about these people in chat. I wish I knew everything about them, but we don't. And now I get emails and messages and things, and I appreciate those, and I communicate with these people. But always imagine that it is one of your family members, and that you have the power to make someone's day, or you have the power to destroy someone's day. And we shouldn't do that. We should absolutely embrace everybody in our community and work for a common goal to bring awareness to these cases, to bring where we can debate issues. I don't have a problem with y'all getting into arguments or debates as long as we don't ever get to the point that we get to the name calling and the insults, um, because there's nothing intelligent about that. And if you know your emotional intelligence and your intellect is limited if you have to get to the name calling. So, but I appreciate this. This made my day, Vicky, and I'm glad you're here. And absolutely, I'm glad things are going better for you. And if we can ever do anything for you, let us know. Lurking and watching on TV, that says Josh. Olivia likes the name original, Steve. Oh, me. Sergeant Waffles. Sergeant Waffles actually is going to be going on my next trip to the Midwest with me. Once again, Sergeant Waffles has certain duties on some of these um, showings, and as I set up um, some of the exhibits, that the skeletons come in handy. That's funny, Molly, about putting a contract down when I find a skeleton. Appreciate it. Congratulations, Grandpa. Uh, my grandson, my oldest grandson, he calls me Steve, um, and that's just a family thing. I had a grandfather. I only knew one of my grandfathers. The other grandfather passed before I was born, and but the one grandfather I knew, his name, I always called him by his first name, so it's just a family tradition. So Snell, I'm glad you enjoyed the, the skeleton in the closet story. Let's see. Hold up. Getting caught up, guys. All right. Shit, I just committed a crime of hunger. I ate 14-inch pizza like I was mad at it. They say you drive a car like you stole it, and I've never heard of eating a pizza like you was mad at it. But you didn't tell us what kind of pizza it was. 'Cause pizza tells you a lot about a person. I can tell you that. I've sat down and watched people with menus, and even in Her Secrets and her sister, when they sit down and they read through a menu, uh, you just sit there in amazement and watch them debate a menu. I've never seen anything like it. Yes, Triple S. That did look just like him. Uh, how big was uh, Mini Steve Triple Alt? He was 8 pounds, 11 ounces, and 21 inches. Yes, Charlotte. That is a Kent, and it's not. You know, this is from 1996 from a sketch done by evidently one of the other women that were approached on that same stretch of road by someone with a ruse of seeing issues with their vehicle, and they did that sketch, and so it is quite interesting. Yeah, yeah, I don't understand why, and he may have Rex may have a fan club. I just haven't seen it yet. Yes, I have the portable blue light. Yes, I appreciate everybody being here, and I wish that, um, and I thank y'all for interactions and being respectful and discussing stuff in chat. There's Dave. I was on Dave's show last night, and uh, he has now. Dave's up late. I was on his show around 1:30, and I enjoy his show much. He gets tickled. It doesn't bother him to laugh out loud during his show. I didn't know that he had a. Oh yes, I did recall that he had a. When I first read that, I thought about the bomber, but the Boston bomber. Yes, that young kid. It must be something with the age. It has to have. It has to be. Although, uh, you know, Richard Allen's older also. And what about the wife doing a documentary? Um, yes. What you know, money talks, I guess. And will people watch it? Absolutely. And I don't know what the relationship is between. I don't know how supportive she is. I know that there was a lot of headlines recently of when she first went back to going to court. And is that part of this documentary? And was that the incentive? I don't know yet, but we'll find out. There's a name for this. For that, there's some type of syndrome where people do that. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, we got Sergeant Waffles that's up, and I, maybe Lieutenant Bones. I don't know. And this is well stated. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. Absolutely. And well said, and thank you for saying that. Oh, me. Has Mrs. Steve ate lately? Oh, Mrs. Steve. That's one thing that we will not we will not name that Mrs. Steve, but that was funny. Uh, Triple S, Susan Smith. That was in South Carolina, wasn't it? Needs to stay in that cage as long as her children are in there. Yes, absolutely. Anyone that would do that to a child. And like I said on Dave's show last night, I had the some of my worst memories and some of the best memories that came out of those worst memories of interactions of when you answer a call to a home and you're able to put an end to the suffering that an abusive spouse is exposing a whole family to, not only um, their spouse, but to the children also. And it's very satisfying when you have those moments. And not everybody goes willingly, but they go. And so uh, even when they went, regardless of how they went, I knew that it's going to be in the courts. It's up to the courts to dispense justice. And um, so it protected the children and the families. And so those were some of my best memories. I never called mom and dad by their first names. They both were sergeants in the Army during World War II. Took no lip, but great parents, and I miss them every day. That's a great story. Absolutely. I love now when I get up there, and I had the pleasure and the honor of meeting Sean and sitting down and spending some time with him. And I look forward. I was hoping to have enough time the last time I was driving through, but we were just so pressed for. I left one lab and went to another lab working on a cold case and ran out of time. Sausage and ham and go. I can see that. I'm gonna tell Mrs. Steve the next time we go to our favorite pizza parlor that I'm gonna be mad at the pizza. No, no matter what an Earth Secret says, this here she does stare at a menu, but they go through the menu. It's almost like finding a lost family heirloom when they sit down and they're looking at that menu because they look at every section of it repeatedly, like they've lost it and it's fond memories and they wish to embrace it. Um, I, I absolutely enjoyed when we were out there and as after they put in extremely hard day work, um, uh, the whole team, that when we sat down for our meal at the end of the day, of watching them. I sat in amazement. Louise says, "Big boy." Now, baby Steve, my daughter, who gave uh, um, birth to triple alt Steve. Now, baby Steve she was 10 pounds and 4 ounces when she was born, and hence one kid. And so, but yes, baby Steve was a much larger baby than the grandsons. Yes. I've never seen anyone hold on to a pizza box along the streets around with. There's a story behind that, guys. Um, when I was helping them, within the first 5 minutes of meeting Unearthed Secrets and her sister, they got out with a pizza box that they had bought the day or two prior and was carrying the pizza box with pizza sticks cross country. And they told me, hold this box. And so I held it. And and I held it and I held it uh, as they unloaded the vehicle, moved to the room, and then we had a meeting. And they finally relieved me of my duties of watching that pizza stick box. Um, uh, what's Dave's channel? It's DGR Dave is his channel, and uh, but I don't have the link. Um, hold on a second, and if one of the mods can pull it, or I'll try to, guys. And if I lose y'all, it's uh, I, I, I apologize. I'm not the greatest one at this. Here it is. And so I posted it down at the bottom, guys. It's in chat, but okay. So thank you. All right. Get caught back up here, guys. Yeah, he keeps up with this stuff. Got caught back up now. All right. It don't take me but a minute to get distracted, guys. Well, I've got a lot of the people in chat have some great channels I deal with. Southern Gals in here. She's going to be doing a show with me in a few weeks. Kelly Steele became a YouTube member. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate your support. You get the blue light. Pancakes, deputy pancakes. That'll work. Oh man, waffles and pancakes. There we go. And I don't even want to try to butcher that, but yes, my speech impediment does not allow me to say certain words, and that's those certain words. Yes, Sergeant Waffles is boxed up, and I've already got him packaged up for a meeting I'm going to be having in December. Because, like I said, anatomically correct he is, and so and I can use and identify certain injuries and bones that are shattered, broken, and demonstrate those in the exhibits that in my presentations whenever I talk to some of these people on some of the cold cases. Yes, 63 clocks. I'll tell Mrs. Steve. She's missed. I can tell you right now, she's missed. Fine, I'll never look at the menu again. Oh, Molly says Carol and Kirsten were searching for cheese curds and brats. Actually, if I ain't mistaken, they mentioned cheese curds. Um, I, if I ain't mistaken, that came up. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, at being at 10 pounds half grown. Yep, that is a nice young child. 10 pounds 4 ounces, which my mother thought was absolutely fabulous because 10-4 in law enforcement lingo is okay. Everything's okay or uh, affirmative, or there's a lot of things 10-4 means, but it's all to the positive. This will do nicely. My first was 4 pounds 11 ounces. My second was 9 pounds 4 ounces. Wow. You almost reversed those numbers, which I'm glad. I bet you wouldn't have been real happy if you had reversed those numbers, 11 pounds 4 ounces versus 4 pounds 11 ounces. But that's still a big baby. That's what we all do. We just laugh with them. We don't ever laugh at them. Um, and Carolyn and I will be doing some shows as we progress, or I'm hoping she'll um, come on my show, or I'll go on her show as we move forward with our acquisitions and looking at cases. And as we, uh, for the fact that the foundation, as we get funding, we request funding, and we have drives to acquire equipment because we're going to grow in a very um, limited fashion. Whereas I say limited for the fact that we're going to be very case specific of what equipment, quality equipment that can, none of this stuff that is from uh, has any of the uh, China issues. That we want equipment that is designed, um, capable, and will get the highest likelihood of solvability for the case. And there's a lot of technologies out there currently that 5-10 years ago didn't exist. Um, and so we have to look at well, not so much didn't exist, but they're not at the level of what they are now. Even the sonars and the things that you can use, the submersibles and the drones, and some of those technologies are just absolutely. By the time you buy them, even today, they're outdated. It's absolutely amazing. But there's a lot of things that we're going to have to do as far as growing in the next year, and I look forward to that. No, yes, the sketch on the right is from a 1996 case out of Virginia of, of a homicide victim that was drawn by some other people that saw an individual um, on the same area of where um, Reynolds went missing. And they did that sketch. Now, you have to think about this is in 96. Rex was not even thought of in 96. But when you look at his picture, you can say, yeah, that kind of looks like a younger, thinner version. Yes, and I'm looking forward for you being here. It just we'll get there. It won't be long. I've got it'll be after the holidays, and I've got a trip. Hopefully, somewhere around the first of the year. I mean, not first of the year, first of December, somewhere's in there. I like that name, Skeleton Crew. That's a great name, Skeleton Crew. I think you need to feed your deputy. He's not doing too well. Elaine from Yorkshire, UK. Thank you for being here. Um, Now, when I work with some of the school programs, that there are certain schools around that I've over the years I go and I talk about the CSI for um, some of the technical schools or some of the schools that have career training that I'll go in and I'll speak to in the law enforcement aspect and um, and do some of that for the school kids. But as far as the presentations I do, um, is for families of cold cases and law enforcement and people that work the crime scene. And I do the testing, the controls, um, trying to prove or disprove certain theories or see um, uh, how things may or may not have occurred during a crime scene. And it's good, you know, just reading about how something possibly could have happened is a lot different than when you do hands-on. And even when you watch me do the some of these controls, um, it lets you see um, some of the problems and how certain things happen. But still, even when you're there, boots on the ground, there's a lot of things going through my mind, and it opened up a lot of avenues that if you're in a certain position doing a certain activity, that it gives you an insight that you wouldn't have unless you go to the areas or you go and you recreate those crime scenes. I don't know if I've ever had any cheese curds. I don't really don't. Yes, that would be great, and I'm sure that it's in appropriate hands. See what's going on here. I almost got caught up. Steve, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Mrs. Steve. Whatever's happening, just know my prayers are with her, both of you always. Mrs. Steve is in hog heaven right now, being that she's with the grandbaby. She's she's still with us. Don't let's not take that to the extreme. That was probably a poor choice of words, hog heaven. But she's down in Florida, just a few miles from her newest grandson, and so she's able to assist uh, our daughter in the care of the grandbaby. And so we're in multi states right now. We're separated by a few hundred miles, and I had to come up take care of some business, and I'll be going back next week for Thanksgiving, and so I'll be heading back south in a couple of days. So we're just right now we're just separated by far too many miles, but we'll get back together in just a couple of days and spend the holidays together. Oh yeah, she's fine. She just now this is no, but Mrs. Steve's just like I said. She's down in Florida right now. All right, T limit. Okay, I'm done. I'm admitted. Is Sergeant Waffles a dog? No, Sergeant Waffles is another skeleton, a anatomical correct skeleton um, that I have that I use for uh, demonstrations, exhibits, um, um, and presentations whenever I go and talk to regarding certain injuries and things for these code cases and for law enforcement. I had you'll see it with the one of the code cases I'm working with. I have a lot of footage. We just haven't released it yet, but a case that we're about to start talking about. That Sergeant Waffles is I guess, 5'10" uh, full scale skeleton. And my community named him Sergeant Waffles because he used to stand right here behind me. Hello, Sandra. True Crime Web. The community probably believes you should set up a wish list for us to buy the things you need. Probably better to donate to the foundation so the foundation can get the items tax free. Yes, that's one of the reasons of for the foundation, and because there's just so much um, that can be done through those tax, and it assists the people that are committed to our mission, and we appreciate them. And but yes, we can also get the items tax free, and it works out so much better under that. And I, Mrs. Steve is working. We'll have some shows on that about where the foundation. Which, if you go to truecrimeweb.com, on the opening page, there's a link to the foundation there, guys. And we appreciate any and all contributions because, like I said, we've got a lot of things that's going on for the next year. Um, we've only uh, December will be the 1 year anniversary for the foundation. And so we're a new channel, we're a new foundation, but we've tried to go out there and have the biggest impact with these families that we can. And there's a lot of stuff to be done. We won't be a part of it, and we want our community to be a part of it because we're all a team on this, guys. Yes, it's a 501. Sergeant Syrup. And this is a good point. Wow, that sketch is stunningly similar, but all it can do at this point is only lead to more investigations for other corroborating evidence. Right on its own, it doesn't mean much. Absolutely, and that's the thing. That's an importance that which came first, This sketch came first when they were looking for an unknown, and the family says, "Hey," and they've contacted, and rightly so. I'm on their side with it. Um, did you find a place in Florida? We have a temporary property that we're staying at currently until we're in the transition of selling property here, and we may sell in the next month, or it may be 2 years. We have no idea. So during this time frame, we'll be moving back and forth. But it was important for Mrs. Steve to get down there with baby Steve, and then double alt and triple alt Steve. And so there's a lot going on. I've drove a lot of miles in the last 3 weeks. I mean, yeah, Sergeant Waffles would be a fantastic dog name. That's interesting. William and Mary Brewster on my mother's side. Yeah, when you're an empty nester, when your high school kid goes to college and they move out, and it's a brand new relationship, guys. It's absolutely fantastic. Although that's been Mrs. Steve and I's. We've been together. We've been married 33 years, but been together longer. Yes, Southern Crime Gal does have a channel. And Molly, you're so much faster at it. I appreciate that. Yes, the foundation is tax deductible for those that you'll get a receipt and uh, for your taxes. Uh, Thank you, Brenda. She gifted one True Crime Web membership. Thank you. Very kind of you. Appreciate your support. No, I don't dox anybody. And now, will people dox me? Probably. Do I care? No. I, I've been, when you turn on a blue light and you pull up in somebody's yard, they pretty well know who you are, even when they're bad guys. So, bad guys really, that if there's anyone out there that's a bad guy, and if they ever want to go after someone, I'd rather it be me than any of the other people out there. And I'm sincerely mean that. At least I've, I can take care of the situation. And you see that where some of these YouTubers now have been victimized. Absolutely horrible that situations like that occur, and I hate it for those people. Oh yeah, I got to do the blue. I didn't do the. If I didn't do the blue, I apologize. Yeah, on the membership, guys, when we try to have shows on Wednesday and Sunday. Uh, on Sunday, it's open to all members. On Wednesday, it's for I rotate for the other two tiers. Although recently it's been so I've been off on the road so much and haven't been creating much content or anything that I pretty well opened up the members both Wednesday and Sunday for the fact that we appreciate that so much for what the members allow us to do. And it just gives you a little bit more access to that we can sit and discuss. All right, guys, I'm caught up. Been here almost an hour and a half. Thank y'all for being so nice, and I appreciate it. And let me get us to this. We'll look at this case now. I'll close out on this one. But y'all guys stay safe out there. I'm going on the road in the next couple of days, and so I'll be seeing y'all hopefully with my travel blue light in Florida over the holidays. And if I don't get to see you before the holidays, y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe out there and enjoy your time with your family. And if there's anything I can do for you, absolutely email me. Let me know what's going on. And thank you, Baby Kisses, $4 super sticker. Thank you. Appreciate that. But y'all stay safe, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye, guys.